What's going on, YouTube world? My name is Austin Zabak, and I'm here with my good friend Sebastian.
What's up,
Appreciate
bro?
you being on the channel, bro.
Absolutely.
So we're, in this video, kind of just want to talk a little bit about Shopify, right? Obviously, you mastered the art of Shopify dropshipping, and it's so interesting because, I do real estate and obviously have some other companies now, but, a lot of millennials, right? There's a lot of people in the world that are like looking at Shopify as a potential stream of income.
Right.
So, obviously you mastered it. You made a ton of money. He has a badass GTR. I'll link by the way, his channel in the description down below. You're almost at 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, we're at 98,000 right
98,000 subscribers. You're about to get the play button.
The plaque, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yep.
I'm so excited. I can't wait till I get that, guys. We're on our way, though.
Yeah.
We're on our way, okay. But, guys, definitely check out his channel, but real quick, you're what, 19, 20 years old?
Yeah, so I just turned 20 in January.
Dude, it's freaking insane. So, just turned 20, has a GTR, lives a really cool lifestyle, gets to travel the world, and in a matter of, what, a couple of short years?
Yeah, about a year.
Dude, it's just absolutely incredible, right? An incredible success story. And so, just tell me a little bit about, your background. What was it like growing up, your family, and how did you get into Shopify?
Right, so, okay, so I'll go into my background and tell you, what, the ambition came from, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And then I'll get more deep into it of, how I started Shopify and, what I did that was different than most people. And why a lot of people know that my first month I got, I think, what was it, 5,500 in revenue my first month.
Wow.
So people want to know that because people don't usually see success that fast. So I'll give some tips on that. But basically where I came from, I probably grew up poorer than 99% of people watching this, and I could say that confidently. I grew up with 3 siblings, all older than me, and then my parents were divorced. So I grew up in an apartment my entire life, sharing a room with two of my brothers, and just dirt poor. There was actually a time where we couldn't even afford to pay our electricity bill, and the electricity went off for weeks, and all of our food went bad. We had to cook, the famous story, cooking with candles. Mm-hmm. So I cooked eggs in the morning with candles before school. It was that bad. So obviously my mom told me I don't have money 100 more times than I could remember, and I hated it. I hated it because she would always say that. So this deep driven ambition just grew inside of me, and I was no matter what, from the age I was 7, 8 years old, I was I will always make so much money, because I didn't want to ever say that to my kids. So that's where it came from. I grew up very, 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 very poor. And so basically moving on from that, I was getting ready to go to college, and I watched Graham's video, actually, funny. Graham Stephan, you know Graham.
Yep.
I watched one of his videos where he was talking about passive income and how he has, I think he had 2 houses at the time. Now he's 8. But he had 2 houses, and he would rent them out, and every hour of every day, he'd make $7 an hour, right? From passive income from these houses. So I was that's dope, I want to do that. And then I could just reinvest and grow that bigger and bigger, and by the time I'm 30 I can be making 50, 100K a month passively. So I started getting my real estate license, and I was what, I'm gonna put college on hold for 1 year just to try real estate and see what it's like. And so I did. I got my license, and while I was in real estate school, I was thinking, okay, well, agents only get paid every time they sell a house. You're an agent, right?
Yep.
So you only get paid every time you sell a house, and that's kind of stressful, because what if I'm gonna have bills, I'm not in college, I need to make money the whole time. I need to always be making money. So then I literally went online and looked up how to make money online, and this was mid 2017, late to mid 2017, and I found a video about dropshipping, and it was okay, it was weird. It was just Dan DeSilva promoting one of his softwares that he owned, TriFunnels, and so I was okay, that's cool. And then I found Thaddeus' channel, which is also a good friend, and he kind of broke down, you need to make a brand, you need to do this. So that's exactly what I did. I just followed Thaddeus' footsteps. I made a perceived brand at the time that was just dropshipping, and then my first month I made $5,500, and it didn't take long. I think it took 5 months. Obviously once I started dropshipping, I started another store. I started doing other things like affiliate marketing. I started my channel. I started doing a lot of things, and I think it took 4 or 5 months to break over 60 grand. I don't remember the exact time, but it was relatively quick. And then I think, what was it, March of 2018, I bought my GTR.
Dude,
so that's just a little bit over a year, a year and a month ago was when I got my car. So yeah, so that's kind of the background. That's a little bit about me. Grew up super poor.
Yeah.
Just had a huge ambition to make a lot of money, and so.
That's awesome. Truly incredible story. That's what, you hear that a lot, right? The majority of people that, end up going and achieving massive success, a lot of them didn't come from, super wealthy families and stuff. A lot of times there's that deep, I feel that deep urge, or that deep, drive just to be, change that family generation.
It's trauma.
Almost.
It's trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
100%.
trauma. It's just in a different sense. Trauma in someone's life always sparks something in their current life, how they are now, depending on maybe their behavior or the way they act or the way they treat people. It always goes back to something that happened when they were a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I wouldn't say I'm massively successful, because I'm not. I don't think any of us here are.
No, there's levels,
you know what I mean?
right?
Yeah, there's levels. Not where I want to be, but still in a good spot.
Absolutely, in a great spot, and you're young.
Yeah.
And you know, now, like, you know, you have this YouTube channel that you're building, and you have this network too. So
Right.
Shopify evolved, you know, for you, and that allowed you to go and network with a lot of, you know, high net worth individuals.
Right.
And they say your network is your net worth.
Yeah,
so.
I know a lot of cool people come to the channel, so that's cool.
Dude, that's awesome. So, you know, for everybody watching right now, like, it's 2019, obviously, right? Like, you started in 2017, and you know, there's for the last couple of years, it seems like there's been a lot of, you know, attention on Shopify dropshipping.
Right.
Right. Like, you know, I think one of the main questions that a lot of people might be asking is like, you know, is it saturated? Is there still money to be made? Like, in 2019 right now, can somebody, you know, hop on YouTube, get, you know, connect with somebody else, and learn, you know, what you learned, and potentially make like $5,500 or even less, or potentially even more in, you know, a few months to a year? Is that still possible?
Okay, so absolutely. Basically, the question is it saturated, right?
Right.
Okay, so yeah, this is one of the most common questions that exists. Like, one of my most, like, the most DMs I get is dropshipping, is it too late? Is it saturated to get into? And honestly, you guys, if I tell you this should be the answer in of itself, but it won't be. Everybody asks that question about everything. YouTube, Amazon, affiliate marketing, real estate, like even real estate. Absolutely everything. And the question comes, it roots from this cynical belief deep down inside that what they're doing is like, it's not like, I can't do it, right? Because every human is cynical, and that's where that question roots from, and they don't even know that's subconscious, but it roots from the belief that this isn't possible because it's too good to be true. And it's not too good to be true, because you guys only see the good things, right? You don't see like the fucking hours we put in, like all that stuff. So it's not too good to be true. I mean, we get to do crazy things, but there's a lot of responsibility, and there's a lot of risk that we took to get here. So is it saturated? No. Everybody asks that question about absolutely everything. And if it was saturated, you wouldn't be seeing the ads that you see. I mean, every YouTube ad I get is a new person saying, do you want to start an Amazon business? Do you want to start a YouTube channel? Do you want to start this? All these people promoting these things, these different ways of making money online. And it's because it works, right? You wouldn't see an ad over and over and over and over again if it wasn't making money. And same thing with dropshipping. Like, I get dropshipping ads every day. I get like hundreds a day. And I definitely wouldn't be seeing those ads if they weren't making money, because who would pay? Sure, yeah. Yeah. So it's not saturated. I think that people just, like I said, that roots from a cynical belief that just every human has, and you need to just get rid of it. And I think that people just suck. If you suck, it's saturated. Right. If you're not creative, if you don't have a different aspect or a different angle on branding or whatever it is you're doing, you're gonna suck. And that's in terms of everything. Whatever you're building, if you're building a brand, you need to have a different aspect. You need to give people a reason to go from Amazon to you. If you're building a personal brand, you need to give people a reason to watch 10 minutes of your video, right? So it's not saturated. You just need to do something different. Because people are doing it.
Yeah, people are doing it. Yeah. It's almost like saying, you know, back in, like, I used to do network marketing a long time ago, and one of the things that I would always relate it to is, like, is Coca-Cola saturated, or is Bud Light saturated, or Coors Light saturated? And it's like, no, there's always going to be a need for that. Like, there's always going to be a place in the market for that, right? And, you know, you can run all the ads in the world, and, you know, everybody in the world can know about it. Like, they're still going to go buy Coca-Cola at the grocery store, and they're still going to buy it. And that's the same thing, I feel like, with every industry, right? And like you said, it comes from a scarcity mindset, I think, right? And maybe even like, you know, self-doubt problems and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I totally love that. So what is it then, like, you know, obviously we kind of talked about it being saturated, your story and how you did it. What is for the people that are watching that don't necessarily understand the business model? You know, maybe they think it would cost a lot of money, or they have to have this big warehouse. They gotta, like, have all these products, or maybe even make their own product. Like, maybe you can shed some light on, you know, how the business model actually works.
Right. So for those of you watching that, maybe this is your first time hearing about dropshipping, or one of the first videos that you're watching, you don't really fully understand the business. A lot of the first questions that I thought people would have is, like, how much time does it take to make money? How much money does it take? Like, how much you have to invest into building your store, into buying these apps, and maybe buying the products and sending them to your customers? And then, like, what kind of skill set do you need? So we'll start with time. How long does it take for you to actually start a successful dropshipping business? Well, I just told you, going back to my the beginning of the video, I did it in a month, right? So and it's really not about the time. People will be very analytical and watch a ton of videos, but more importantly, what you should be doing is taking action, because you'll learn more from your own mistakes and from spending money and from failing than you will from ever watching a video on YouTube. Right. So, like, for example, this is like just something I'm coming up off the top of my head, but if somebody tells you, if you're at point A and you want to get to point B and you don't know how to get there, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to watch a video, and then that person says, okay, well, you have to walk from point A to point B. Well, now you know how to do it, but you don't need to keep watching a bunch of videos. You need to just go and do it. And along the way from point A to point B, there's going to be mud, and there's going to be hurdles, and maybe you have to rock climb or something like that, obstacles.
Sure.
All right. That only you are going to experience. It's different for every person. But the only way that you can ever get from point A to point B is from actually walking there, which in this particular case would be starting your business, wasting money, losing money. I didn't always make money. It wasn't always evergreen, right? Losing money, learning what you did wrong, and then fixing it. So taking action is 90%. Right?
I love that. That's with anything, right?
Right.
Like a lot of people think that they see the highlight reel on social media, and social media is obviously like, it's really tough because you have to differentiate that, right? Like, everybody's posting their best picture at the best time in the best pose with the best lighting, and it's like that's not real life, right? Like the thing is that most people aren't talking about is the failure, the sacrifice, the grit, the resilience it takes to become successful.
Yeah, it's funny because like on social media you'll see like one picture with someone in Dubai, and then like their next picture they'll be like snowboarding in Colorado like a week later, and they're like, bro, these people are just always doing crazy shit. But like in between that week, you're just at home working, doing nothing, waking up, working, going to bed, and then you go and you take a picture. It's like such a little percent of our life. It's actually kind of crazy.
It's insane. Yeah, and they might even, those pictures could have been 3 months apart, but they posted them 1 week apart.
Yeah,
like you just never know, you know,
and
that's the reality of it.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome, dude. So so obviously time, people know, like they know that it's doable, right? They can do it. They got to go from point A to point B, watch, like learn it and then take action. Like that's the key. Like action is everything.
Right.
So what is, Shopify, do you have to have a bunch of money to start? I mean, like what would you say, is it would take, and kind of what does that look and feel like?
Okay, so the more money you have, the bigger your playground is, and the more toys you have to play with, essentially, if that makes sense. You just have more flexibility. Now, you don't, if you are unemployed and you have $1,000 in your bank account, I wouldn't do this, okay? I would find a source of income that you could take that money from and invest it into the business. And you're investing in your own learning when you're doing the business, because sure, you might be spending money on ads and failing, maybe breaking even, but you're investing in your own knowledge of the business itself. So if you don't have a source of income, I would get one. If you're unemployed, I would get a job, unless you have like 10, 15 grand saved up. You can start with 500, I would say, is minimum, and just the more the better.
Yeah,
you can start with 500, but the more the better. And that money, where you're going to be spending that is, you have a domain, which is monthly. The Shopify, to have an account, is monthly. It's like, that's like total, those two together is like probably $50. And then you have a couple of apps that are going to increase your conversion rate. That's probably going to push you to 100. And then you have to spend money on ads just to get it out to people. And so not a lot of people know how to do that. So maybe you'll lose a couple $100 spending money on ads. Maybe you want to buy a course for $300 to $500. So that's where that money comes from. You could be scarce with it, but I would minimum have $500, but don't spend your last dime on it.
Sure, yeah.
I would never do that.
With any industry, right? Like, always
dime.
go, like, people, I think, quit their job too early. Like, have a main source of income and, like, have a side hustle.
I was making 4 times as much dropshipping than I was caregiving.
Right.
So I was taking care of older people, and I was on my laptop, because, they don't need intense care. I was on my laptop working, and I would make $400 or $500 revenue a day from dropshipping, and I'd make like 80 after tax.
Yeah.
Caregiving?
Before you quit.
Before I quit, yeah.
Exactly. So boom, big takeaway there.
Yeah.
That's because I think one of the big misconceptions with like a lot of the online businesses is they think it's, it's easier than maybe like real estate or insurance, being an insurance agent or, something like that.
Not really.
It's all really the same thing, right?
And it really is.
Naturally, drop shipping you can do from your house. Like I get that. You can do it from your pajamas and stuff, but it still requires work, and it requires action, and it requires, learning and failing, and a lot of the same principles are the same, right? With all the industries. So, Shopify just happens to be one where, the process might be a little bit quicker, and, you could probably do it from anywhere in the world on your laptop with a Wi-Fi connection, right? So who would be, like, who does dropshipping? Like anybody? I mean, you have to be a certain age. Can anybody do this thing? As long as they have that initial money, it sounds to me like anybody can do this.
Right. So dropshipping is cool because your face is not involved. So people can pull the racism card, people can pull the gender card, people can pull the whatever card, but none of that applies to dropshipping. So no matter who you are, unless you're like 13, even if you're 13 and you have your parents' consent, you can do it. I mean, but it doesn't matter who you are. You can do it. It's a matter of learning the skills, and a matter of learning people. And dropshipping is not dropshipping, it's marketing. It's getting people to pay you money in exchange for a product or service product.
Right. Yeah.
That's what dropshipping is. So you just need to really get good at that. And honestly, this may sound a little harsh, but I think it's important. I think that smarter people are just going to do better at this. I think smarter people just do better at everything. And that's okay. If you don't think you're the smartest person in the world, you need to work extra hard. And I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I worked really, really hard. And so there's smart people and things are going to come easy to them, and there's not as smart people and things they're going to require more work. And it doesn't matter if you're smart or not smart, you're just going to have to work harder.
Huge takeaway. Yeah. I love that, dude. With any industry, like you can make up for your lack of intelligence with hard work.
Yeah.
But it's one or the other, right? Yeah. Like same with me. I'm not that smart, but I work really, really hard that way I can, for those guys that are smart, I can keep up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or eventually hire smart people.
Yeah. That's exactly
right?
what it is. It's hiring smart people to do things I can't do.
And I think Elon Musk or somebody says that. Like they talk about that. They're like I didn't go to Harvard, but someday I'll hire somebody who did, right?
Right. Yeah. There was another guy that actually I forgot what his name was. He had an IQ of like 190, and his business is a think tank. Have you ever heard of this? This is off topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his business is a think tank. So he just hired a bunch of people that were smarter than him, and he's incredibly smart, his company, the service is literally, we will solve your problem. For anything over 10 grand. Any problem you have in life.
Insane.
Yeah, any problem you have in life.
That's entrepreneurship right there.
Pretty cool, yeah.
That's awesome. So in closing, what do you think is if you were to everything you've learned, everything you've seen in the industry, what would be the first step? Somebody's watching this video, they understand it a little bit, they've watched a couple videos, should they get a course? Should they find a mentor? Should they watch a bunch of YouTube videos? Like what's that first step that somebody can take to get into the industry?
Okay, so I'll be honest. I think the first thing you should do, I think I have really good videos. I'm just going to plug that in. I think I have really great videos.
Click his link in the description.
Yeah, I think the fact that I get a lot of views on my videos and I think that I have a good amount of subscribers compared to other people, I think that's just a sign that I have good content and that you guys should watch it. So that's not me, sucking my own dick. I'm just being honest.
For sure.
I would start by watching a lot of my videos. Go watch other people's videos too. Courses sound very attractive when you're getting started because you watch a bunch of videos and you get knowledge here, 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 and then there's a couple gaps, and people initially think that those gaps are going to be solved by the course, right? So before buying a course, I would just watch as many videos as you can, and before buying a course, I would actually attempt the business and try to go from A to Z, right? Running ads and doing all that for maybe a couple of weeks, and if you still can't figure it out, then maybe buy a course. But I wouldn't just get straight into it by buying a course because you don't even know if you like it yet.
Exactly.
And you don't want to spend $500,000, $700,000 on a course if you don't know you're going to like the business. So
100%.
Watch a bunch of videos, try it, and if you're maybe doing good, and then you could seek out some consulting or something.
I love it. I love it. So super simple, guys. You can watch this video with what me and Sebastian have talked about here today, and through hard work and dedication and a little bit of time and obviously some money, you can go out and become successful in the Shopify industry, right? It's not that complicated. It's pretty simple, but it does require work. Right?
Absolutely.
So I absolutely love it, dude. Anything you want to add before we kind of close out?
I guess I'll give them one last tip if anyone's watching until the end, which you better be. The most important thing I've learned in the past couple of months is the front end of the business. So this is going to be really tactical. Probably doesn't apply because this is like general advice.
Sure.
But super, super tactical information for somebody that may know what dropshipping is. The most important thing is the front end of the business is something I've learned, because a lot of people right now currently are having the problem where they can run ads and they can make money, but they break even or they lose money running ads. Their cost per purchase is too high. So the fix to that is the front end, because if your cost per purchase is too high, all that means is you're showing people your ad and not enough of them are coming and buying, right? It's costing too much. So if you make the front end, and what I mean by front end, I mean your advertisement itself, right? The actual video ad, the copy, and the offer, right? If you make those better, then your cost per purchase goes down, and then you become profitable. And then the higher your margins, the better you can scale, because that's another problem people have, is if they have like 20% margins, you can't scale because you're going to lose that. So the better your margins, the easier it is going to be for you to scale. So improve your front end, improve your ad, improve your copy, improve your offer.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's awesome, guys. Like, that was a total golden nugget right there. Hopefully you guys watched to the very end, because I mean, that was just incredible, right? So guys, go check out Sebastian. He's a good friend of mine, highly successful in this industry, almost at 100K subs. So definitely first link in the description down below. Go subscribe to his channel, and go out there and just take all out massive action. You can become successful in anything that you put your mind to. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button.
It's free.
And yeah, dude, it's freaking awesome. Okay,
it's free.
We'll go out there and we'll see you guys in the next video. Hey, thanks so much for being on the channel, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon.
All right, guys.